Hi, I'm Rob Pritchard and I'm the sports editor at Manx Radio. A regular contender in recent years for a place in the top flight, it's been a period of turbulence for Michael United Football Club. In the space of just 2 weeks or so, the Kirk Michael-based side have seemingly gone from outward stability to seeing a mass exodus of first-team players. Now, the club as a whole is issuing an urgent appeal to bring in players as it scrambles to get both first-team and combination sides on the pitch for the remainder of the season. So how, seemingly out of the blue, has the club ended up in this situation, and what's the immediate plan going forward? Michael Corlett is describing himself as the stand-in first-team manager at present, and we spoke with him on Manx Radio recently. First of all, really, I suppose let's just try to establish a few facts here. We've heard reports of quite a considerable number of players leaving the club. To your knowledge, how many players have left the club in the last week and a half to 2 weeks?
I would say in the past 2 weeks we've lost about, I think it's 12, 13 players.
I see.
So pretty much a full first team.
And is that spread across both the first team and the combination side, or is it one or the other?
No, that was pretty much the entire first team. Yeah.
Okay, so with regards to that situation, I suppose that the million-dollar question everyone is wanting to know an answer to with regards to football is, why has this situation come about? It was only a couple of weeks ago we were chatting about Michael United once again being one of the contenders within Division 2, and that's not to say that can't be the case going forward, but a lot has gone on behind the scenes. Within what you can tell us, what's your understanding of the situation and how it's come about?
Yeah, I really don't really know how it's happened or why it's happened so soon. Obviously, we're a club out in the sticks in Kirk Michael, and it's tough to attract players. So a lot of the players that we had, and a lot of players who have gone, are all Douglas-based lads. They work in Douglas, they live in Douglas, and they all come out and helped us at Kirk Michael for a good number of years now, playing for us. And obviously, you see, we've done quite well. And I think long term, we obviously knew these players wouldn't last and stick around forever. Because the players do tend to go to different clubs, and we've been quite, pushing for titles and trying to win Division 2 now for a couple of years. And I just thought maybe after this season or so, we might start losing a few to other teams, which is understandable. And then a few weeks ago, unfortunately, after one of the games, our manager decided to resign and said that's him. He's decided to move on. And then what happened then was a couple of players decided to go with him, which, no problem with. And we thought we'll be okay with a couple of players gone. And then it developed a few more, and then a few more. And then what happened then is I think some of the lads have gone, right, okay, our first team is going to struggle. What's the best for me as a first team player if I want to continue? So we lost a couple more to higher teams. We lost a couple of lads to Onken who were playing Premier League. And then finally, the last one was another couple of players decided to go, and they've gone to other Division 2 teams as well. So we kind of knew sometime it would happen, but just to hit it halfway through the season is a bit a tough one.
Now, over the last couple of seasons, we've seen Michael United repeatedly in and around, as I mentioned a moment ago as well, fighting for promotion into the top flight. It may not have quite happened, but have been there and thereabouts. So how much and how drastically does this change your club's objectives, particularly at first team level, for the rest of the season?
Well, the good thing is with first team, with what we've got now, we've got a couple of players remaining, and then the young lads from the combi are all really keen to step up and play in the first team. We had a discussion with them and saying, listen guys, you boys are combi, are you all keen to come up and play first team? And every one of them was like, yes, 100%, which is great. So for us, nothing really changes. We're going to work as hard as we can and, push them as hard as we can. And the goal is still just go as high up the table as we can. And we just got to change our aspects a little bit. Not going to be title challenges, but who's to say we can't spring an odd surprise here and there? You don't know.
Like you say, they're combination players stepping up into the breach given the circumstances, but that has affected, of course, the combination game going into the weekend. We'll get more information on that with Tony in a few minutes' time. But in the wake of all the developments that have gone on, the club is very much on the lookout for senior players, isn't it?
It is, yeah. I mean, obviously now we've got the combi lads, majority of them stepping up to the first team, and that's obviously basically made our combi redundant. We do have players that come and help us when it need be. They work on Saturdays every now and then, so they'll just come in every 2 or 3 games they'll play, then they'll miss 3 or 4 games and stuff like that. So I think we looked at our squad, and I think active players we had, if everyone was available, I think we had 20. with who could play regularly. Everyone else, we had 5 or 6 players who were, I can't commit every week, but I would help out when I can. And then obviously we lost, 12 players on top of that. So numbers are getting pretty low. But I have to say a big thank you to everyone who's posted and shared things online, because we have had a number of players come to us and get in touch and say, can I come down to training and see you? And so we've had, 3 young lads come. I think they've been Peel Juniors and around back a couple of years ago. So they're all 17, 18 kind of thing. And we've had a few messages from other players saying, can I come down? And it tends to be a younger age group, which is quite good to see.
And last but certainly not least, just on this point of players coming into the system from different areas, the club did put out some information on its social media channels in the last few days, but if there are any players new or experienced out there maybe looking to get in touch, maybe just find out a little more at this stage, how can they maybe look to get involved in the club if they'd like to?
Yeah, best thing to do is obviously look, just check us out on Facebook, Michael United Football Club, and send us a message if interested. But then, there's also other clubs around the island. It's not just, other clubs have been in touch with me and said, we're struggling as well. There's plenty of clubs on the Isle of Man who'd be looking for players. Teams in Douglas, teams all over. I know Malou are struggling. I know Gyms have been struggling. Obviously, St George's had given up games, and there's other teams that only have a combi team. There's teams that only Pulrose last year only had one team. Now they've got both. Douglas Athletic currently just have their combi team. So there's plenty of teams around the islands that need to boost their players. So literally trying to get anyone involved who wants to play. Don't just come to Michael. There's other teams around needing it as well.
Thank you for having the stamina to make it to the end of the Manx Radio Sportscast. You're clearly someone who has their eye on the ball at all times. Want to hear more about the latest sporting news across the Isle of Man and much more? Then might I recommend you take the plunge and subscribe to this series or a wide range of Manx Radio podcasts at your favourite podcast provider, so that, in a flash, all of our finest moments take a winner's place on your smartphone. Thank you.